We're going to hit the ground running today. Come on now. Go on now. Come on now. Did you know that you can catch the Spaniard Show, AMXbooks, Monday through Friday on the Spaniard Show via iTunes or whatever podcast app you're using? You can catch us live streaming at facebook.com/Charlie Spaniard. You can then catch us on YouTube at youtube.com/Charlie Spaniard, Monday through Friday, AMXbooks. On Tuesday, AMX Kids, where we're reading kids' books and we're extracting the life lessons from kids' books. And then on Thursdays, you're going to have your AMX Talks, which is either an interview or a keynote that an interview that I would have done or a keynote that I would have given. Or on Saturday, you're going to get AMX Weekly, where if you don't have the time, nor the desire, nor the whatever for AMX during the week, you have AMX Weekly on Saturday mornings, which is your one-stop shop for the highlights of the week's learnings. There you have it. To hand it to you on a silver platter. That's all you could ask for. That's all I can give. So I hope that's all you can ask for. Let's dive into today's episode. AMXbooks 628, reading The Boys in the Boat. 1, 2, 3. Good morning, my friends, and welcome to the Spaniard Show. This is the Spaniard, and this is AMXbooks 628, reading the book, The Boys in the Boat. I got to tell you, this is one of my all-time favorite books. Dredd said it was his all-time favorite non-fiction book. This is powerful reading. I actually am coming close to finishing it, and last night I was on the edge of my seat. I laughed, I cried, and I had chills running up and down my spine from this book. It's an incredible piece of writing, and we already know the result. We know that they win, but it's still that good anyway. I want to send a special thanks and a special shout out. We got another patron via patreon.com/Charlie Spaniard yesterday. Paul Toast, thank you, my friend. I see you online. We communicate. We're buddies online. I sincerely appreciate your support. Everyone else, if you'd like to help support the Spaniard Show, patreon.com/Charlie Spaniard for as little as $1 a month. Let's dive into today's reading, and I want to talk about competition. I love competition. Competition is at the heart and soul of my being, and it's not always the most fun thing in the world because there's a lot of downside to competition, but to me it's that thrill of the fight. You know, it's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. I was just at the gym listening to Rocky and Survivor, and it really is. It's that you against you. It's the paradox that drives us all. That's what I thrive on. In the book, I want to talk about defeating an adversary, right? Defeating your opponent who's of your equal. So Joe Rance, who soon becomes an Olympic gold medal rower, this book does a great job of showing his freshman class coming in, essentially, you know, a group that didn't know much about rowing. They weren't supposed to win. They weren't supposed to win the championships. They worked together to achieve this goal. So he's learning. They're learning as they go. And it says that Joe learned his freshman year while watching the upperclassmen about how to defeat an adversary that is your equal. Because remember, in a fight, in the UFC, when I would have an opponent and we would fight, I didn't think I was going to lose. He didn't think he was going to lose. We both thought we were going to win. But only one of you can come out the victor. So you have to work your way through that dynamic during that fight. In the book it says this, quote, "It wasn't necessarily enough just to give your all from start to finish. You had to master your opponent mentally. You had to know something he did not. That down in your core, you still had something in reserve, something you had not yet shown. It's like you've got to make him doubt himself. There's a fulcrum that is a breaking point. Okay, there's a fulcrum that is a breaking point, and you need to make your opponent doubt himself. Maybe it's the stage that's your opponent, or maybe it's the chair if you're playing an instrument. No matter what it is, you've got to make your opponent, real or not real, doubt himself. Quote, like so much in life, Crew was partly about confidence, partly about knowing your own heart. That's it, knowing your own heart. So how do you know your own heart? How do you get to know your own heart? You got to go through the struggle. It's not something you can dish out or you can delegate or you can offset to someone else. You got to go through the tough stuff to know who you are in your heart, to develop that belief, right? That fulcrum of breaking point. Am I going to break or is he going to break? Am I going to break? Who's going to break here first? And when you put everything into your work, everything into your heart, and you totally let yourself go to that thing, I fall back on John Wooden's definition of success. The definition of success as per John Wooden, one of the greatest coaches of all time, it's a peace of mind that is the direct result of self-satisfaction and knowing you did your best to become the best that you're capable of becoming. I want to let you in on a little secret. That's all you can give. That's all you can give. Maybe your total output on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the champion of the world, maybe your total output is a 6, maybe it's a 7, maybe it's a 2, maybe it's an 8, whatever it is. That's what it is. But the truth is, most people don't get the most out of themselves. So maybe if someone has the potential of a 10, but they're only getting a 6. If you have a potential of a 6.2 and you get a 6.2, you're going to win that fight. You're going to win that bottle. That other person is going to break. So the way you get that confidence, the way you figure out what's in your heart, what's in your soul, as Joe did watching those upperclassmen, is you put yourself in that grind. You put yourself there to your breaking point, and then you don't break, and then you think, whoa, all right, let's rock and roll. Moving on, talking about tough times, talking about tough things. This was in 1934, maybe 1935. This is getting out of the Depression. Tough times in America, tough times in the world. Learning a lot about history, a lot about the rise of Nazi Germany and Hitler in this book, because the Olympics were in Berlin in 1936. So we have depression, we have the weather, the Dust Bowl that I'm learning about. We have all this hardship going on in the country, and the morale is low. And in the book, it talks about a talk that Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was given out west, talking about the reformations, talking about the improvements that were being put in across the board to help elevate the country as a whole. Quote, "It was a dawning, the first real hint of hope. If there was little they could do individually to turn the situation around, perhaps there was something they could do collectively." All right, this is tying into teamwork. This is tying in together a mission above self. If there was little they could do individually, they, meaning us, meaning them, meaning the American citizens, the U.S. back then, maybe there was something they could do collectively. Quote, "Hard work, perseverance would possibly work, but maybe the answer lies in something more fundamental. The simple notion of everyone pitching in and pulling together." How about that? How about that? Everyone pitching in and pulling together. If you don't have your own thing, truthfully, outside of AMX, right now in my life, you are my team. I don't have a team. I'm not competing. I'm not part of a program outside of AMX. So if you are like me in that this is it, this is what you have, with whom are you going to pull together? How about me and Sharon and Dennis and Dredd and all these other people who listen day in and day out? How about you pull together with us? How about you embrace this purpose of books and this mission of lifelong learning and the way it elevates your lives? And how about we spread that outward? How about we pull together? That's it. Remember, no one's in charge, yet somehow we're all in charge. Got that one from How Adam Smith Can Change Your Life, another tremendous book. And lastly, I want to talk about swagger. I want to throw this out, your attitude. Your attitude will determine your altitude. So coming back after the summer, after being freshman national champs, Joe Rance and his team, the soon-to-be Olympic gold medalists, they come back after winning the freshman national. They got a little bit of swagger to them. The coach notes, quote, "What was most different was the attitude of the bunch of boys Joe rode with last year. There was an unmistakable hint of swagger in their step." There was an unmistakable hint of swagger in their step. How do you get that hint of swagger? Let's go back to the first part. Let's go back to digging deep down, figuring out what's in your heart and soul. But not just walking the walk, right? Talking the talk, but walking the walk, putting yourself out there, going through the wins, the losses. We're listening to how Joe and his team rode up and down the cut, and it's all this, the ice coming off their beards and their hair and their cotton gym shorts and shirts. They went through it and they earned it. Earn it, my friends. It's been AMX Book 628, The Boys in the Boat. Get the book. I'll have it updated on charliespaniard.com/reading list today. One of the best books I've ever read. I'm literally sweating, getting chills, crying. I'm experiencing all kinds of emotions reading this book. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you'd like to help to support the show for as little as $1 a month, we just had our seventh patron take part yesterday. Thank you, Paul. You can visit patreon.com/charliespaniard. The link is in every version of this show that you're going to hear or listen to on youtube.com/charliespaniard, facebook.com/charliespaniard, or by searching The Spaniard Show on iTunes. Go read a book, folks. Boom. I will see you all tomorrow for AMX 629. Don't forget, AMX Kids came out yesterday. Read Mikey and the Dragons, Jocko Willink's new kids book. Awesome. See ya.